What is up, winning team? Can I just start off by saying thank you to you guys, because I have never liked the person I am more than right now, but it's taken a lot to get here. And if you told me this time last year that I would be thinking and doing like what I'm doing this time this year, I wouldn't believe you, right? Because it's just insane. And I feel like I woke up as a new person in January 2025. And it's so weird because, as you guys know, I spent most of last year just like miserable, so overwhelmingly miserable. And the reason is, it's quite simple. The journeys that we go on with the Lord, right? It's quite simple. I had to just process out all my emotions. I realized it. I told you guys this before, that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That's a law of thermodynamics, right? Therefore, whatever energy was there from events that had taken place, still some events that it's just it never stops. Like I remember being at the start of the year, I was like, God, when am I going to be healed enough to do anything productive? Because I just feel like, I'm always working through everything, and I'm always working through, like I'm always getting deliverance, healing, whatever, but I'm still like a mess, right? Anyways, so I came to realize that eventually my problem was that I was double-minded, right? And I was double-minded because of things that I said to you guys. Like, I know what it actually takes, I know what it actually takes in this life, to do things. And for me, when I set goals and I decide I'm going to go for everything, I don't set small goals. I set huge ones, because the Bible says God will do exceedingly and abundantly above anything you can ask or think. So, I'll give you guys a couple of examples. And before I get into this, I want to preface this by saying this. I strategically share information online. Certain topics, it may seem like I'm talking about everything, right? And I'm oversharing. But you'll notice I only talk about certain times of my life and certain things. Other things I don't talk about, and we're going to come to why I don't in another video. That's going to be kind of like some kind of support kind of video, I guess. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. I just remembered that there was a video I wanted to do, but I don't want to forget to do it. So anyway. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I set stupid goals because the Bible says God will do exceedingly and abundantly above anything you can ask or think. And in general, when I hear people talk about their goals in life, I think they're small. And when I say small, I don't mean in terms of monetary value or anything like that. I mean small as in closed-minded and so for example, to me, first of all and foremost, my prayers to the Lord, it's not about me and him. I'm not going to pray to the Lord with goals that would make my life look like the lives of the world. Let's put it like that. If I'm going to really dream, I've said, I'll give you guys an example, right, of a materialistic goal that I have. Because then you're going to understand why I don't want to. We're getting there. I don't care about being a millionaire. To me, being a millionaire is a small goal, because $1 million is not that much money. It's not that much money. When you've been broke, and this is when being a slave to money in this world affects other people that are not me, because I'm not a slave to money. I want to have a lot of it for the simple reasons of I need to be able to pay for the things that need to be done, because unfortunately we've allowed the world to become driven by money. You know what I'm saying? So if I want to find a way to rehabilitate all the kids who are in these underground tunnels, I'm going to need to be able to buy buildings. I'm going to need to be able to pay for staff, food, bills, etc. I'm going to need to make sure that they're getting the proper, whatever tools so that if they're going to be, if any of the kids are going to be, if any of the children are going to be adopted or whatever, I need to be able to, provide to help with all of that. So there's that. There's a flip side of other things I want to do. So if I was to work in the entertainment industry, I would be like a wall between vulnerable artists. And when I say vulnerable, I mean I see everybody who is not wealthy as in a vulnerable position, because it means somebody with a lot of money has the power to manipulate you, right? So I have to be in a position where I can afford to help, help people look through their legal documentation, pay for proper lawyers to do their due diligence and make sure that people are not signing their lives away in these contracts. I need to be, and all of these things have to be able to be free for people. So I don't mind being the one to be, I don't mind, like I don't care about money. Like there's a lot of things that I want to do that cost money, like for myself personally. Like, let me think of something. I'd like to own an island because I don't like being under the jurisdiction of the government. So I don't think I'll be able to rest. Like this is what I'm saying, the conversations I'm having with the Lord, right? I won't be able to rest in like anywhere in the world until I'm somewhere where I feel like is my own land and I run this place. Like you're not going to come and tell me we've changed the laws for this, we've upped the taxes with that. If I need to hop out of the rest of this malarkey, I need to be able to do that. I was looking at Mr. Beast's video and he's giving away an island, and I was like, the island's like 1.8 million. I was like, oh, that's cheap. Like in the grand scheme of life, to the average individual, it's not. And that's because people are not used. People are have small thinking, and it's part of the plan of what the kingdom of darkness is doing. And actually, this is why I want to do these things so much, because I hate bullies. One thing about me, I hate bullies. I hate bullies. And this from a number of reasons. Number one, because I think it's in such bad taste to take advantage of somebody just because you can. That's in such bad taste. Like, I would rather anything that I do, like if I have any kind of support, if I have any kind of help, if I have any kind of community, any kind of anything, any kind of, whatever, I don't want it to be because people are in fear. I want it to be because people have respect. You know what I'm saying? So I don't do this whole bully thing. And I just find it such an ugly behavior to take advantage of somebody just because there's some way that you can get through some loophole. I hate it. So most of the things that I dream about doing surround me going up against bullies. That's why I mentioned about the underground tunnels. There's a lot of bullying with that because the devil knows that people don't have money. Christians believe that like desiring to have wealth is like something demonic, even though with the world literally runs on money, right? People in the entertainment industry are desperate and end up signing these things away because they can't afford to, they're desperate. The quick 60K is a lot of money for a lot of people. And like I was thinking about this today, especially because I spend a lot of time thinking about gaming money, because I was watching the Mr. Beast games. And I'm going to talk about all of this separately, properly. And I also was watching the BBC Traitors and whatever. And I was just thinking, I love watching these kinds of shows because it always bewilders me to see what people are willing to do for money, because money does not have no hold over me whatsoever. That's actually what makes me dangerous, because there is not a price. And even Mr. Beast kept screaming, everybody has a price. Like he was loving it way too much, but we're going to talk about that separately. Right? I realistically don't. For me, in terms of things like these kind of competitions, the only reason I'm doing the competition is because I want to win, and because I like to win. I like winning, and because I'm a winner. It's just who I am. Like it's my DNA. So I would play. I can't go on. I couldn't even go on one of these shows because I would either have to. If I was choosing empathy, then I'll play a bad game, because feelings always ruin good gameplay. I'm not going to lie. Or a lot of times that they do, right, in this world. Or if I play properly, people will think I'm completely ruthless, because I can just, if I decide to play ruthlessly, I can just cut off my emotions. I can really do that. So I can't really go on these things, even though I would love to go on a show and like see how good I would do. But I just know I'm not going to be, if I sign up to a game and I've decided I'm playing the game, it's not even about the money. It's about the fact that I can't be losing here. I can't lose on TV. Like, do you know what I'm saying? That's insane. So yes, anyway, so it's all of these goals that I have. Like those are just things that I want to do for myself. Like those things just make me happy. Like I would go on these competitions and play the game just for the fun of it, right? But the point is, I live in a world where people are slaves to money, and therefore because they're slaves to money, the way that they go about the game kind of ruins it for me. And then that's why I don't really want to do any of these things, even if I may or may not have had opportunities to do so. And so so that's why, I just it's this planet is frustrating for me, basically, because I want to do good, but obviously I'm coming up against an enemy. Also, here's the other thing. I honestly got so tired of like, and I want to be very clear here, guys. Let's just backtrack a little bit. I don't believe I'm any better than anybody else. I've said this before. What I do believe is I have more courage than other people. And I oftentimes are frustrated because I think to myself, it's like I'm always in a situation where if I don't step up, we are doomed. Like, because that's what I think people don't even realize. Like, a lot of the things that people do in this life, if that person didn't step up, everybody was doomed. That's the thing. And that's what frustrates me as well, because it's a lot of pressure. And then people have the audacity to critique you. And it's like, you try, you even just step up. You can't even step up and you want to nitpick at me. Now, and that's one thing I didn't realize, that I would get so heavily criticized throughout my life that my brain still thinks in criticism as we speak. I've been realizing that I'm giving myself a hard time because literally all of the incredible people I've met, like you guys and like my new friends and stuff, everybody like in the new section of my life, I can, even if people don't say it, they kind of look at me like, you're so hard on yourself, you need to stop. But it's like, that's how my whole life, all I've ever been hearing, majority, is criticism. That's literally the voice in my head, is the voice of criticism. It's not like I just picked it up one day and then I can just throw it away. It's like I have to, I'm like working so hard to completely reprogram the way that I think altogether. Like, that's basically what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? So when people are like just offhandedly, oh, you should stop being so hard on yourself, I'm like, how do you think I've won? I've won because all I've done is critique myself and be critiqued. Because when you're the one person that steps up, now everybody wants to have something to say about how you're doing it. Just like how people do with politicians, just like how people do with athletes, just like how people do with artists, just like how people do with all of these different things. That you want to critique every single tiny thing about your leaders, your prime ministers, your presidents, your whatevers, but you would never step up and take that job on. You would never be the one standing there making the decision based for everybody else, but you're going to comfortably sit there and critique. You don't have the discipline to become an athlete. You don't have the discipline and the strength and the courage to put yourself out there and perform when there's millions of people potentially watching, and then sit there with the critique of people that could never do half of it. Because that's how I look at the world. I'm like, you're out here, even with sports and stuff. I'm not quick to critique anyone in a lot of fields. That's why, like, for me, I don't get that deep. I don't get too fired up about politics. I think I'm just like, choose the person that seems the most genuine, as in like they're going to actually do what they say, and that somebody that has good policies that support everybody being able to live the way they individually want to. That's my thing. If it comes to athletes and whatever's, again, I can appreciate when somebody played really well. I can appreciate when it maybe wasn't somebody's best day, but the hell am I ever going to be furiously mad at a team because they lost at the World Cup or something or whatever? Same with artists. Okay, they have whatever. Like, I'm not judging them. If I'm either appreciating what they do and loving them as a human, or I'm stepping back because I'm not in their position. I'm not there. Like, this is why I got so frustrated when there was all these black women talking about, oh, Simone Biles, she needs to lay her edges. Like, bro, you can lay your edges, but are you an Olympian? Are you a gold medal Olympian? Have you represented the entirety of your country well at a worldwide event where everybody's watching? No, I didn't think so. So maybe we should shut the hell up about Simone Biles's edges. See what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that where I have to think, when I'm thinking about this double-mindedness that I have, I'm like, whatever I do, right, and whatever I choose to do, and I've not even scratched the surface, you guys. I've spent a lot of time building up my capacity inside of what I'm capable of doing, and I'm capable of managing a lot of things, because one of the like key factors about me is that I am highly efficient with time. I hate to waste time. So if something doesn't make sense for the way I'm using my time, I will change it and I will use my time more efficiently. That's why I tend to have a lot more free time than other people. But that's because the time that I'm doing stuff, this is why I used to hate working at some of these jobs. I'm sitting there all day, 9 to 5. I've wasted probably the equivalent of like, let's say, every 5 minutes here and there having a conversation in the office. Not only am I just talking and not doing the work, but I'm also doing the work more slowly. So now I'm being paid, yes, whatever salary, whatever, but I could have been done with work at 3 o'clock, and then I have other things that I could do that I could be done before 5 o'clock, and at 5 o'clock I could be at home having done like double the amount of work. Like, a lot of these jobs I've done like in life, I've felt like I could do this work, like if it's a full-time job, I will feel like I could do this work in probably half the time, like 2.5 days. I could work 2.5 days and get all of this stuff done and still do it better than other people and still do it, properly with less correction. So why am I here all day? Why am I just here twiddling my thumbs, having like superficial conversations that I don't care about, right? Because we don't talk about anything in society because we're all wimps and we don't have courage in this day and age, and we like to be comfortable in our cowardice. So we're not talking about anything anyway. We're just chatting. We're just using up our energy. Again, another resource that I don't like to waste. We're just using up energy to doing nothing. And then at the end of the day, you now don't have time to speak with the Lord. At the end of the day, you are too tired to go to the gym and do these things that would actually benefit you. It's not good, right? So these are the types of things that I be thinking about, because I'm like, if I'm going to be around people, chances are 9 times out of 10, if there's a situation and something needs to be done, i.e. somebody's doing something, I'm going to be looking around. And as I've said to you guys, I'm giving you examples. I'm looking around at who's going to do something. Oh, right, it's me. Yeah. So these are the things I've been thinking about, the double-mindedness of really understanding like the pressure. Because it's a lot of pressure, you guys. It's a lot of pressure. People don't realize, like, people love to see the shiny thing, the shiny part of things, but you don't see the hard parts. Like, even when I went to sing in Italy, it seemed so shiny and nice, right? Oh, I stayed in these hotels or whatever. I want to see many of you guys, not you guys, the winning team, I'm talking about the world. I'm always talking about the world, by the way, guys, because we're just over here having our conversation. But I want to see the people in the world who are so critical and whatever. I would and think that everything is so fun and I'm like so lucky to get these opportunities. I want to see you show up in Italy having never sung before, when singing is one of the number one things you didn't want to do, and then sing for an opera star one-on-one, and then sing in front of tens of thousands of people and have to keep up with the movement, the facials, the notes. You just have to just know these things, because it's a lot of pressure, because people have paid, and there's no hiding. There's no, oh, you sent you send this person an email and so they'll never get to see your face anyways. Oh no, they're seeing your face the whole time. If you trip on stage, everybody's going to see. If you sing a bad note, everybody's going to hear it in the hundreds of speakers that are everywhere, towering up and down all around the stadium. There's going to be people, there's press, there's paparazzi taking photos, doing interviews. It's a lot of pressure. So I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I know myself, and I know when I know I can do something, even if I'm scared, like beyond belief. You guys know, I told you I was crying. I was crying the whole time. Like on the way there, before I had to sing, I was crying. But I had to do it. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this is why I go for this double-mindedness, because it all sounds well and good, and everybody thinks you should jump in and do everything because they've not done it themselves, and you're not thinking about what it's going to cost. You're not thinking about the losses that you're going to face. Like I said to you guys, even now as we speak, there's, as far as what me and the Lord are working on personally, I keep it very close to my chest, like I said. So for example, one of the things I purposely decided to do is, people in form relationships, that when they ask me what I do, they're going to need an answer, and I don't need people to know the big things that I'm doing. So I just decided, perfect, I know I'm not going to be doing teaching forever anyway. Those days are numbered. So I'll just talk about that, and I'll just make that the main thing I talk about when people ask about what I'm doing, and I'll protect the things that I actually care about. So I'm noticing now that as I'm like clearly shifting into a slightly different vibes, if you will, that it's changing my relationships already, even some of the new ones, because people are like, before I was just a teacher like everybody else, like doing whatever. Now it's like, why are you doing this, and why have you been like that? You know what I mean? Like, why am I saying? The other day I was commenting about a situation on a spiritual thing, and I said a direct comment. It would be like the equivalent of me saying, okay, it'd be the equivalent of me saying, like, the spirit of religion is using so and so to try and do whatever, right? And somebody would be like, oh, because to people in the world and to others, talking about demons in the spiritual world is still a tough subject. For me, I'm so used to the demons. I'm more comfortable with the demons, around the demons, than humans. Because these demons, I can get rid of them quickly like this in the name of Jesus. gone. Humans, I don't even know if this is demonic. I don't know if this is your personality. I don't know, whatever. Then you can always go and give your narrative. It becomes crazy. So when people look at me crazy when I start saying what I think about a situation on a spiritual level, right? It's like, but you're all the same ones encouraging me, like, go for it, stop holding back, stop running from what God is trying to do. It's like, right, you haven't prepared yourself for what that's going to look like. Do you know that if I'm going to be rich, I said this to the Lord, I've said this to the Lord a few times, I have no interest in milli, billy, trilly. No. I would like to own a percentage of the world, of the entire planet. I'm not joking. Because if I'm going to have money, right? This is what I've been thinking about. If I'm going to have money, then that money has to be enough to have a strong enough impact. Like, because me having like a couple milli, 100 milli, heck, a billy, right? Like, okay, a billy, we're starting. A billion, now we're getting somewhere. But then again, as soon as I spend even 1 penny or 1 cent, we're back down to millionaire again. And like I said, I need to, like, for me, if I really wanted to do it, I need to be able to, like, if I need to, like, one of my other things I want to do, I'll tell you 2 big things I want to do. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't even know what to ask the Lord for because I have so many ideas. And I'm somebody who's always got ideas, right? One thing, I'd like to own an airline. And I'm all inspired by everything that happened during, the pandemic, and how, because basically somebody that I know, it was a very disappointing moment because this was a man, and I was thinking, really? But very early on, somebody that I know she was running to get this vaccine, not like trying, not like stepping away from it and like saying that, like, they were so dedicated, like, that I have to do this because they're saying I won't be able to travel. First of all, look who here is unvaccinated, and where have I been in the last couple of years? Don't know if you've been around here, but I can assure you I've very much been on some airplanes in some countries. So their answers, they said to me, they were like, well, what are you going to do? They're saying you're not going to be able to travel. And I was like, I'll build the damn plane. Like, I don't know how. Listen, the thing with me and all these things I'm saying is I believe God can do anything. So for me, it's about his will. If he wills to do it, it shall be done. But whether he can, that is not a question in my mind. So that's why I'm like, God, you said exceedingly and abundantly above anything I can ask or think. So I'm going to just shoot for the absolute highest. Because you said ask or think. Well, I can think about owning a percentage of the world. And I can think about having an airline. I can think about having my own research labs. I want to have my own research labs because I have already been writing like literal scientific. This stuff drives me crazy because I think about it. I have hypotheses that I've already written down that I would do, and I would hire some of the best scientists in the world to work on it. And again, it's all a tactic against the enemy. Can you see? Every single thing is about going against the enemy. Oh yeah, you're gonna try and say I can't fly, I can't whatever. Yeah. Okay, build an airline. Great. Oh yeah. You're gonna put out all this research that's biased, that is only funded by things by people who have certain conflicts of interest and what have you, and you also deliver the information to the public, but you've got the public to trust in scientific research so much. Let's do scientific research. Like, do you see what I'm saying? That's my energy. And so signing up to do a lot of this stuff is a lot, but I could do it. The thing is, I know I can do it because I'm me. And listen, I've thought so much about so many things. Like if I had companies, how would I run my employees? How I would include childcare, and like, I would include childcare anywhere that I had like employees, so that the people could know that there would be a lot more flexibility with the workday, because I just think this functioning of the workday doesn't make any sense to me. And I think a lot of people, grown adults, deserve more independence. If I can't trust you to do your job anyways properly, just because there's not this overly structured system, then why do I even hire you? Because you should be actually adding to optimizing the system and its efficiency of how it works. So do you see what I'm saying? I would hire young people instead of what other people are doing, all these long pathways to have jobs, right? I will go and pick kids off the street. I did that before with the company. I told you, we used to literally go and pick young people off the streets and bring them to work. That's another thing I would do. I'll utilize all these kids with all their different, I wouldn't be waiting for them to finish their degree and whatnot, because guess what? Come work for me at like 16, even 17, 16. Come work for me. By the time you're 18, you're already making good money. If you want to go to university, you can pay for yourself as opposed to going into debt. Maybe we'll sponsor you because you're one of the kids that works in art. Do you guys see that it just never will stop? All these things. And these are the ideas I'm having outside of the entertainment industry, because that's another whole idea of things, of how I do things differently, because I'd love to have like an agency, like I said, that helps people, that's like a middleman between the industry opportunities and the people going in. So you have somebody that's a third party that has your back, that is making sure that you're not being taken advantage of, you've got the legal support that you need, etc., etc. So I want to do that, not to mention the homeschooling story arc, which is another whole thing. So it's like, when I'm thinking about, like, when people were saying to me, like, this is why I was thinking about this last year, thinking, first of all, I've got so many issues. So how am I supposed to be able to do anything? Second of all, I am a go hard or go homer. So this double-minded thing, it's like, it is go hard or it's go home. Like, the middle option, it's not how I operate, because eventually I'll end up on one side or the other. Eventually I'll either get so downtrodden that I'll go home, right? Which can happen. Or I will start, and because of how I naturally am, I'll end up just going hard by default. Like, this is the thing that frustrates me about myself, is that as soon as I start doing anything, I can't help but like do the best that I can. So this is how I was thinking all throughout last year. So I'm thinking of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth about all of that. And then I'm also going back and forth through the critique, because I'm thinking, oh, I already feel so bad about myself. Like, I already dislike so many things about myself already. I already feel so like unprepared in life in general. Like, and just there's things that I need to do that, oh, it's just a lot, because I'm basically trying to sign up to do things that I'm not seeing people doing, and that most people, I don't know what if they don't care, but are not like thinking of doing. And so I'm like, when people are like, oh yeah, I'm like, my faith is way further than like a lot of other things. Like, I don't need to have faith if the Lord is going to provide. I don't need to have faith for if the Lord is going to do a lot of things, because my faith is like already way past that. My faith is like being tested, is like, will the Lord give me allow me to have a percentage of the planet? And I honestly believe that if he felt like I would steward it well, he would. Because why wouldn't he? And why couldn't he? He's God. You see what I'm saying? So that's where the double-mindedness comes from. That, and then also just like, like I said, the backlash of the things that I've done and how people really think. Like, I don't know, people say you shouldn't care what people think, right? But here's the thing that people don't talk about is, you can't tell me I shouldn't care what people think, and at the same time expect me to just be this open person to relationships. Because the higher you go up the mountain, right, the less people are up there. And the higher you go up the mountain, the less people are in support of you. Because like I said, it's easy to have friends when you're like, if I'm just a teacher, oh my gosh, it's the easiest way to build friends. We can just talk about work all day. Oh my gosh, there's so much. The kids were doing this was crazy. Yeah, we had to do this worksheet. And then I had to call mum. And you know what I mean? It's all of that. But now if I start saying, oh, I think I'm going to open, I remember, this is the things that people say. I remember when I was working in London, and I was working, at some point I was doing like this media consultancy thing, which is something I kind of on and off do, basically. Like, people who are not really, honestly, in my opinion, they're just not resourceful. But people who are not really as familiar with like the options of how you can do things. Because I'm somebody who always tests something out so that I know how it works, so that I have it as an option. So for example, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Shopify, right? People have Shopify ads will come out, whatever. I'm the type of person where I did this over like a month, right? In the midst of everything else. I randomly opened a store, made it random, and randomly made all the website, designed it or whatever. And I set everything up, like the payment stuff. I made products, like just random things, right? And I did this all for the 1 month trial, just so that I know how to do it if I ever need to have that skill. Just like, there's so many things that I've done. Like I said, all these jobs, I do it just so that if I ever want to do it, I have the skill, and I can so I could turn around a Shopify store probably in 48 hours. Like it would take, if I wanted to set up a Shopify store and I had products or I wanted to sell online products, I could turn around the full store in 48 hours. And that would not be difficult for me at all. And that's with the logos, with the everything, with the sites, with the shipping, vice, this, that, and the other, done and dusted in 48 hours. Not even difficult, because I want to know how it works. So when I see a lot of things that are out there, I'm like, okay, I'll figure out how to use that, because I might be able to utilize that. So that's why I know a lot of times how to tell people how to do things, like that I don't necessarily do. Like I know how to set up a Patreon. I technically have a set up Patreon as well. That's just something else random. So this is the things I was helping people with anyway, because I can do them. I remember at the time somebody saying to me, this is what I mean about those comments. And I was telling somebody about like what I was doing. They were like, what business do you have doing anything in consulting? And I was just like, first of all, hater. This is somebody that I should be able to trust, mind you. Second of all, I was like, why is it that when I start climbing the ladder, like one of the first things that happened to me when I like first registered a company, which again, I didn't actually have plans to start my company immediately when I did my first one. I just wanted to see how you do it again, so that if I ever need to register a company, I know exactly how I'm going to do it, like this, and I can turn it around within an instant. So that's what I did. I went there. I literally had a name that I'd randomly written in my notebook that I thought, just rang with me one day. Go online, go onto company's house, I fill out all the paperwork, boom, bang, bing. 3 weeks ago, I'm getting my shareholder certificate. I've got my, what's it called? I always forget what those things are called. The articles of association, I've got my, what's the other thing? The main ticket, like that tells you the certificate of incorporation. I had all of that within 3 weeks, boom, bang, here we go. Now I have a company. All of a sudden, then I just knew how to apply to like, I get paid through working independent, like what do you call that, privately, because I work for myself, and then now I knew about the laws to do with that. So you just, I'm just a researcher, like by nature, and I'm just like, to me, nothing is impossible, and I find that hard to do because I live in a society where anything outside of everything seems impossible, but also as you do those things, like I say, people, because after I had my company's certificate of incorporation, people would be criticizing me, like asking me back and forth, assuming that I don't know what I'm talking about. So they'll be like, so how's your company registered? I bet you're calling yourself self-employed, but you're just a sole trader. And I was like, no, I've got a private limited company. Like, you know what I mean? They think I don't know what that is. And again, because people assume, because babyface young women, oh no, I've got a private limited company. Like, so how are you making money doing that? Because I bet you didn't think about this. Yeah, but you didn't think about that. Like I did my degree. I was telling people I wanted to go into engineering. People asking me about engineering. I bet you don't even know the difference between the different engineering. I bet you don't even know. And these are people that I know, people like my friends or people, my family. Like that's what I'm saying about the risk. This isn't the average individual. The average individual is impressed and is like quite supportive. It's always like the friends and family that are around me that act like this. You know what I'm saying? Or like I say, not showing up to the things that I'm doing, not supporting them, speaking down on me, trying to wait for me to like stumble so they can be like, hi, you really didn't know what you were doing. And it's like, it's such an ugly energy, because I'm the opposite. I'm like, listen, you tell me you've done something, I'm there. Like I'm like, I remember one of my friends, like and she's kind of one of those people that I kind of lost because of these types of things. She's written a book, and her book was really good. I read the book through cover to cover because that's what we do, and I paid for it. Even recently, one of my friends, her husband wrote a book. I obviously paid full price. I'm not asking for a discount because I'm supporting what you're doing. I'm going to read it. So then I went to her show, not to her show. She had a book launch event. We went to the book launch, and then she got this really cool deal basically to tour with her book around the country in these bookstores and do these readings, which I thought was insane. But then we had an issue because I felt, and this is what I'm saying, like, I felt as though she was just allowing herself to be taken advantage of because she didn't want to lose the opportunity. But I know from my experience in business and other things, like people will take advantage, especially when it comes to things like business related, right? People take advantage of the fact that you're not going to fight back. This is something I learned from watching men negotiating, because I was like, the heck, we don't negotiate. And so, as I've said to you before, like I'm very much like, if I want to do something, if I decide that's the energy I'm coming out with, I do it. So I felt like she was the one who wrote the book, and the book was already booked to be toured, but they were trying to take like 65 something stupid percentage of her money. And I was like, I wasn't saying to her not to try and flip it completely. I was trying to say to her, you are the asset here, my friend. you need to negotiate that really differently, because right now you're traveling the country and you're paying for all of this to help promote them, what they're doing. And I just thought it was ridiculous, you know. And she went on and did that, but like, I'm not like that. Like I told you guys, there was one time I was working as an event planner, right, an event curator, right. So I'm working on this event, and it's basically like this huge business banquet. So this company has hired me. They're going to have like this huge business banquet. There's going to be like 4 celebrity guests, 3-course meal. It's a big dress up event. Like everybody's dressing up really nice. There's going to be a VIP, 2 VIP sections for like the people coming. So I'm organizing this whole thing. Anyways, going into it, I didn't know how much this was going to cost of me. Once I realized that I was being underpaid, I went in there and I just had to say, listen, I'm gonna need you to pay me double what I'm being paid right now for all the things you're asking. And listen, if you don't ask, you don't get. They paid me double. They paid me double the price that I was being paid, because I did like a block pricing for like a 6-week period or whatever, or 8-week period. I don't know how long. How long did that? I can't remember. But anyway, because if you don't ask, you don't get. And these are the things that, like, when I'm telling people about them, like friends, family, people be like, oh, you're so arrogant, you're so this and that. And I'm like, this is how it works. This is how things get done. If I don't come out and defend myself and make sure I'm getting what I deserve, ain't nobody, they're just going to take advantage like this. We'll come to that situation in a minute, because I'm only going to make that video. So these are all the things that are running through my head while I'm thinking about the costs of this thing. It's like, first of all, it's a lot of work. Let's just start there, because there's so much that needs to be done. Second of all, the risk element, because a lot of things you can only figure out as you do it, right? Especially if it's not going against the normal grain. The other thing is risk to relationships. So it has been, not saying it always will be, but it has been the reality that my successes directly equal my successes in my, like, say, what I'm doing in the world, in my career or whatever, directly equal losses in relationships in one way or another, which is such a shame. And it's never like all the times that I have been guilty of certain things, I will take that on the chin myself, okay? And I'm the problem. I'm okay with that. Where I have the problems is when it's just the unnecessary. So like I said, I'm not trying to show off. I don't even talk about work most of the time with people, what I do. But they'll ask, oh, I saw, like, this is why I deleted my old Instagram as well, which I'm glad I deleted it, because there's too much in there. And I feel like people, when they see everything that you've done, they all of a sudden have made a decision about you, like, oh, you're such a this and this person. And it's like, you've not even got to know me. Because what I really like is, yes, I do all that stuff. I do that out of purpose's sake, because I feel as though I'm a nurturing person. And nurturing doesn't just mean, like, clothing people and feeding them and whatnot. It's also, for me, it's nurturing people's careers as well. And they're like I want to get everybody onto their purpose wherever God has them. And so that's why I do a lot of these things. If I think people are doing, working on work, like I said, that I think is really good for the community, I want to be there supporting. If I think you've got a business, that would be great, where you could have your own online store, selling your own different thing. I want to help you, because I see the vision. I see where God is trying to take you, and I want to help, But to be misunderstood so often, it does get really lonely. And I think people don't realize that it's not like a little pocket of just random items. It's in general. Like, in general, it gets like this, because people think, whoa, you must have so much confidence to do this. Like, no, the heck I don't. The heck I do. I do not. But it's one of two things. Either I'm sure enough that God is telling me to do it, that I have to do it, because I try to be as obedient as possible. Because as the Bible says, obedience is better than sacrifice. And the Bible says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Second of all, I do it because I feel like this person or this thing needs to be done. Like I said, I'm a problem solver. It all circles back to that. So if I am there and I have the skills to help others, I'm going to do it. It's not about me. Do you know what I would like? Do you know what I like to do? I'll tell you what I like to do. For me, what I would rather do if I was just going to live a selfish life and just only think about myself, I would game. I would find a way to make like a decent enough income, right? That doesn't require me being anywhere, talking to anyone or nothing, right? I'll probably go into something like insurance, I'll probably go into some kind of like business where they are very, a very predatory type of business. So I can just work a couple days, whatever, and a couple of hours a day and be, making, okay, I wouldn't do that. That's a lie, because I'm not in that kind of vibe. What would I actually do? I would find something anyway, so I could make some. Cybersecurity is good money at the moment. And I'll just game. I'll game by myself at home all day, every day, all day, every day, and listen to music and vibe and cook. That's what I would do for myself. That's what I would do. If I was gonna, I wouldn't be out there. I don't have some big dreams. This is why none of it makes sense. I don't have some big dreams to be seen and to be worshipped and to be appreciated. I don't have some big dreams to be able to tell people, yeah, I'm a millionaire. No. All these things that I desire is because there's a specific thing that I can utilize in those things with that actually benefits a vast number of people. But then the cost element is that I'm always going to be treated like I'm crazy. I'm always going to be treated. And these are just truths that I've accepted at the end of 2024. And that's why I made this video. I think coming into this year, I just thought, you know what? I just need to just accept that there are risks, will be losses. And it's hard because I'm a very much sensitive person. That's why I care. People think because I don't react to things that I'm not hurting, but I might be hurting more than anybody else. I don't find the thing, that's why I don't take pride in the downfall of others or the destruction in the world. My heart is broken. I don't take pride in feeling like, oh, I'm this kind of person. I could never be like that, and I could never I don't take pride in any of that. My heart breaks, so that's where I'm at. I just realized, you know what, I'm gonna have to just dig deeper in my faith in the Lord and trust that this new phase. Before in my life, I was I was a kid. I had no idea about anything. I hadn't experienced adulthood. I didn't have wisdom about how to spot things in people, and I trusted everybody, and I thought that people were good in general and all of that. Before, I really believed that as long as we all want to live as long as we all want to win together, we can, and that the only reason people aren't trying to is because they haven't been given the information. And that's where all my heartbreaks come from. My heartbreaks, I realized last year, it's not even what people have done to me. It's not even what people are doing to others per se. It's that the option to win is available for free for everyone. And I can't believe people are not choosing it. That's actually where I couldn't pinpoint my frustration with the world, but I finally found a way to pinpoint it. It's we can all win. Every season of my life, I'll be thinking, you're choosing betrayal and lies and this and that over teamwork and winning. There's so many little things. I'll give you guys an example because I was talking about this over Christmas, right? There is no reason my family doesn't have a family band. It was always my dream at Christmas that we would do a Christmas album as a family, because just even the 5 of us, my parents and me and my brothers, just there alone, you have every level of singing from soprano down to bass. We've got at least three instruments in the building. That family, and I thought that would be such a fun thing for us to do. This is what I mean. I feel like such an idiot that I thought any of these things were possible, but and I'm genuinely embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed about it. But yeah, I thought it'd be so much fun. We could all, we could just it wasn't going to be some big thing. And anyways, we all, because of our lives, have access to things like music studios and stuff like that in ways that other people don't. It would have been so much fun. We pick the songs together, we practice them, we record them all onto CDs and give them out. It's people don't do CDs anymore, so I thought that'd be so much fun. Give them out as CDs or whatever, or upload the music onto Spotify, which again, I know how to do things like uploading things onto places like Spotify and where you have to go if you want to make sure that you get your royalties when you produce music, because I've looked into these things because this is what I did, right? And yeah, so I was like, we could have done that. Then we could have had like a cute family photo shoot, and we were all wearing matching things, and we could put that on the front. And then we could have like on the back, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Like, you know, and that would have been like, those are the things that when I'm thinking about stuff I've been through, that's the where the heartbreak comes from. Not like the things that people did do. It's like the things that didn't happen that could have happened. Like the number of things, and that's like the same with friendships. Like I remember there was even a time where I was doing this dance performance thing, and me and these girls came together and we were going to make a dance crew, and I'm so annoyed we never did it because we would have been so good, but no one was serious. And I remember I then go and start dancing with some other girls instead. This is when I was a kid, like still a teenager, whatever. And I go dance with some other girls instead. And then the girls, once the girls who I started with first saw what I was doing with the others, and they felt like they were losing out, all of a sudden they wanted to do it again. And I was like, and then I see people, like I see so many dance crews, and you hear their stories of how they came together and they were doing stuff like we were doing it, but we just didn't commit to the journey because people couldn't commit to the idea, right? So when you hear about a lot of these famous people, that these famous whatevers, they just kept continuing to like dance to, and like I used to, again, have all of these benefits that we could utilize, such as my family is the pastor's family, so I have keys to the building, which means we can rehearse in the building. We used to rehearse in the building for this other dance stuff I was doing in the church building, because I had keys to the building, or at least I would ask for them. And then obviously good speakers and stuff in there. So we would, just like in one of the halls, we could throw on the music, do the it's like so many things that I've seen. I'm like, this could have been this could have been that. Even business ideas, like even ideas with people that have come together, like we want to do this, we want to do that. And I'm like, why does it just not seem to? And I guess the long and short of it that I came to the conclusion of is the people are there. I just didn't have the discernment because I was a child, and I need to give myself that break. And that's the break that I feel that people don't give me. Is like, I didn't know. I'm learning for the first time. Most of the time, the reason why I'm good at teaching is because I know how I feel when people like bark information at me that they feel like I should know that I don't know. And I'm like, this is the first time I've ever heard this before. So that's why I don't do that. I wasn't doing that with the kids, because I'm like, how are they supposed to know? And I still did so much. So imagine on little things where I could have I could have used actual support. Like, this is why I don't want to be involved in these things, because I'm like, when I used to do like a lot of sports, I used to play a lot of different sports. I told you guys before, this is how I even dislocated my finger playing basketball. I remember I was getting scouted like in athletics. I was getting scouted because I was, like I said, I was stupid good at like I'm stupid good at a lot of sports for like no good reason. I was getting scouted, but I was here busy thinking of the wrong things, because I'm like in my teens. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of the wrong things, and I was more interested in going to watch the guys. To be honest, I'll be so real. So I wasn't focused, but had I been focused, had I even had just like one person that had been like, oh, you need to like focus on this because this is your moment. Because we used to have basically, and again, this is another idea that I have about having almost like a counter Olympics, because the way that you get into these things anyway, I don't necessarily agree with, because a lot of it's to do with circumstance as opposed to just pure talent these days, because you have to go through all these stages. So like we used to do these competitions where you compete at your school, then you go compete at the districts, you go compete at whatever's, all of that, and then you compete against like all of east of the country, and like whatever. And so when we'd go to these, you'd always have scouts there. So there'd be people walking around, scouts, they'll come with their cards to try and scout you. Here was the problem, you guys, is I will be winning. But I wasn't like a good athlete in the sense that, because I'm showing up here, tell me why I'm here. I'm here wearing Converse trainers because I think they look cute. And I'm still winning, but I'm not focused as an athlete. And I'm just, like I said, my eyes are in the wrong, my thoughts and my mind was in the wrong place. All it would have taken was just a little nudge of me showing myself seriously and me proving myself to be like a capable athlete. And I honestly feel like I could have been a professional athlete. Like, I know that sounds insane. I really do believe I could have been a professional athlete had I put my mind to it. Because bearing in mind, I'm doing this as just a slapdash job. Like, these are the things I'm looking back at, and I'm like, this is why I take children so seriously, because I'm like, the number of things that could have happened well. And that's what hit me last year. I was like, everything that I have within me to end up being like this as a teacher, overworked, underpaid, undervalued, in a system that's built to break the spirits of children and turn us into factory workers for the kingdom of darkness. How the hell have I got here? And that's what was depressing me, honestly. But then in the end, I realized you got to have grace and you got to be understanding to yourself, and you got to. So that's where we're at now. And I'm just saying, you know what? I'm like the person I've become. I'm proud of my journey. I'm proud that even though I make so many mistakes, I get to have done so many things wrong. I've done people wrong. I've been the villain in many people's stories also, not intentionally, but I was the villain, and I take accountability for that. You know, now I know better. So it's only taken 27 years. But then I also think I'm not even 10 years into adulthood, so I'm kind of still being really hard on myself. But then that's how the world is. The world is like, oh, how have you not figured this out? You don't know this yet. It's overwhelming. As I like to tell people about my plans or what I'm doing, because I know people are going to talk me out of doing the thing that I know is the right thing to be done because of one reason or another. So that's why I was feeling so double-minded, and I just feel like it was good to get that off my chest and like share with you guys. Like when I'm saying things and I'm doing things, people really don't understand what they're saying to me. That's what I had to understand. I had to realize I need to stop listening to what people are saying, because they're not even listening to the situation that they're talking about. They're commenting on it from their perspective, and their perspective is massively skewed and small. It's almost like you're trying to solve a problem that's on a piece of A4 piece of paper, but the only amount of the problem you can even comprehend is like this. So when you're trying to say, oh, but this is it, you can do this, I'm like, you haven't seen the full page here. You haven't seen the full page of what's been happening and what you're signing up for. So I don't trust what people say for that reason, because I'm like, well, you're not even like, if people were having goals like mine, I'll listen to you. Like, and I even have some friends like that now where I'm like, oh, so we finally met some big dreamers. This is what I'm talking about. Because otherwise people be like, how are you going to tell me that I need to just like let go, and your biggest concern is if God is going to send you a husband? It's like, of course he's going to do it. He can do anything. Whether it's his will and whether he believes you're ready is another thing. Of course he can get you a promotion at work. Whether he's will and whether he will or whether he's ready, that's another thing. You see what I'm saying? Like, these things to me are very, very small things to ask for. Very small. And to be worried, to be stressed about. I'm like, God, forget this. What are we doing to destroy the kingdom of darkness? Because ultimately, my ultimate goal is to come at the same way the devil's coming at the kingdom of heaven in every area. I want to do the same back. I don't want to be on the defense anymore. I'm sick of being on the defense and just, oh no, the world is just like that. No, let's be on the attack. You see what I'm saying? So you guys, anyway, I'm going to shut up now because I'm getting fired up now. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know where to end. I don't know where anything is going. Can I just say that? I don't know where anything is going, but I tell you what I do know. What I do know is that I'm going to do as I do every January, take my hands off of everything and surrender to the Lord. And I'm leaving the past behind me. That's probably the biggest thing. I've realized, you know what? I allow myself to be gaslit. I gaslit myself. The devil gaslights me. I'm not the crazy one. If anything, I'm the one everybody should be listening to. That's the truth. If anything, because I'm not saying anything crazy, and my only goal for everybody is to win. I want to see everybody win. I want to be like, and you get a win, and you get a win. Anyways, you guys, I've got loads of other videos coming out that haven't yet been recorded, but will be recorded right now because I'm so ready. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for your support as well, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys being the people you are and just being so patient and lovely and just being yourselves. I don't want to use any words because you're all different. Like, everybody that I've met through the winning team is so different to each other, but like just so perfect. And that's what I love about a team, is you have different people with different ways of thinking, different personality types, different temperaments about different things, different passions about different things, different skills and different things. That's what forms a solid team. So I'm already excited just by the team alone that exists, and I cannot wait to see where the Lord will take us. So on that note, stay tuned. I've got lots of things I'm going to be talking about, because if life's a game, let's play to win. I hope this video brings you guys some kind of, I don't know, clarity. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but I just needed to get a lot of this off my chest. And also, I do feel differently for some reason. So we're just going to leave it to the Lord. I'm not going to say I'm doing this or that or nothing, but what I will say is I've as a person have changed, and something tells me that maybe that was the point all along, and that there was nothing else other than me having to get to this point where I'm at now. So pack it up, everybody. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one.